Welcome to the first episode of Behind the Pocket Protector. I'm your host, Jim Porter, and my guest is the president of HAWA Engineers, Jeff Ortman.
Hi, Jim.
Welcome to the podcast, Jeff.
Thank you.
So I want to know, do you know what a pocket protector is?
I do. I'm old enough to have experienced pocket protectors in my career.
So for those that don't know, it's to protect your pockets from getting ink on them or getting stained. Back in the day, pens weren't what they are today. They had pointy tips, and engineers would walk around with, stains of blue, red, and frayed edges.
Yep.
They could track the invention back to about the 1940s with a young engineer named Hurley Smith. Saw a need to upgrade that because he was tired of, washing or throwing away his clothes. So a couple fun facts about pocket protectors is that sales peaked in the 1960s, most likely attributed to the space race. NASA, the government, hired a bunch of engineers. We need to get to the space.
All on TV, too, at the time. So
100%, yeah. And it developed a cult following as a symbol of geekdom, worn by engineers, scientists, and higher education students. It was a quintessential nerd accessory.
Gotta like those nerd accessories.
If you identify as a nerd. But
tape on your glasses.
Like anything, another engineered invention kind of put the pocket protector out. The rise of the ballpoint pen in the 1980s contributed to the sharp decline, but also changes in fashion, which, I don't know if engineers change fashion that much. I have the same khakis on since I've been in the industry in 2002. So,
sure.
Fashion really stays the same, but for fashion to change, that's a big thing. So this podcast will focus on who we are, the engineers you work with as people behind the pocket protector.
Very interesting.
All right. So to get to know you, Jeff, you're an engineer.
I am.
What made you become an engineer, and was there a moment or event that made you feel that this was for you?
Well, like most engineers, when we were in high school, we were very good in math and sciences and excelled in those. So that kind of started my process down the engineering path. My father was a civil engineer, worked for Columbia Gas for 35 years between the early 60s and the late 90s. And with that experience and with my expertise or preliminary expertise in math and science, engineering seemed to be the right thing. I started at University of South Florida in Tampa. Took a trip down there in the fall and started my college career, and very quickly became a little bit homesick, but struggled a little bit more with a lot of those influences and distractions that come from freshman year.
I have no idea what influences or distractions, especially in South Florida, would ever do for somebody's school.
There were plenty of them in my case.
All
so
right.
I struggled a little bit. My father, the civil engineer, helped me through that. He ended up ordering all of my textbooks, having them mailed back to him through my freshman year. And every Sunday, after I spent my hour talking on the phone with my girlfriend, now wife at the time, and my family, Dad and I would sit down for the last 20, 30 minutes, and he would basically tutor me through my classes. After reading the assignments on his own, he would basically tutor me through my physics and my chemistry and my early engineering classes, and basically got me back on track. And when I came back to Ohio State, most of that time I lived at home, and he continued that process all the way through. So I guess when I realized how important my education was to him, it kind of lit a fire underneath me and focused me on my engineering track.
And that was a long conversation, because back then you probably had calling cards or long distance subscriptions.
No, I don't think we had calling cards. I think we just put money in the phone. It was a pay phone in the hall outside the dorm, Alpha 1 East.
Oh, geez.
And we'd sit there, and every once in a while you'd have people walking by
Quarters.
going,
You got
are
a
you going to be
textbook?
off that phone?
Not for an hour and a half.
So
And they didn't have virtual textbooks or Zoom calls you could do back then?
none of that. They had none of that back then. So
All right. So you struggled a little bit early on, but with the help of your dad, you made it through college.
I did.
So HAWA is in the construction industry. In my college days, it really wasn't promoted that much. It was more manufacturing, automobile research.
Yep.
What made you decide to work at HAWA?
Well, I believe it was the summer between my sophomore and junior year, if I'm not mistaken. I was looking for an internship. I was working at Big Bear, which used to be a grocery store here in town, in the produce section, and wanted to start to get into something engineering as opposed to just, putting apples and spraying down vegetables. So I saw on the bulletin board in the engineering building at Ohio State that HAWA was looking for an intern. So I applied, interviewed, and 38 years ago was given the job and started as an intern.
Well, they do say engineers or interns make the best engineers at your company.
They do. We have quite a few that started, including
I
yourself,
was
if I'm
too.
not mistaken.
I was kind of with you. I was going to be a bartender at the Lakes Country Club. It was either bartender at the Lakes or intern at HAWA.
Yeah, not nearly as exciting being a bartender as it is being an engineer.
Yeah, but although both could, give you some lessons you can carry on through life, they're very valuable experiences.
That is true. Some of the best lessons I've learned were at a bar, probably being there too long, especially in Tampa, Florida.
It could be. So, what projects at HAWA as an engineer piqued your interest? And do you have a favorite one?
Well, I've had quite a few experiences in projects. I would call those milestone projects, ones that you kind of track your career on. When I started out as an intern, I was doing quite a bit of work at Battelle Memorial Institute, Battelle now. I was actually going to school, and I would actually go to Ohio State, Battelle being within a mile of Ohio State. I'd actually walk after class over to Battelle, do some field work associated with that. I believe it was building 4 air handling unit replacements that we were doing. We added an exhaust system in building 5. All of that work I was doing while in school. So Battelle has been a continual client of HAWA and of mine during the 80s and 90s. So Battelle was a big one. I can remember OPERS, which is the Ohio Public Employees Retirement Building. Downtown Columbus was my first high-rise building that I worked on. I believe
As an intern,
you were on that.
I was the drafter on that project under Chris Gleach. It was under you.
Yeah, so that was the first high-rise that I did. Of course, Nationwide Children's is our flagship client currently. We do quite a bit of work for them, their new buildings on main campus. I started there in 2000 on the Research Building 2, which was the second one. And again, our experience with them. So quite a few solid projects that I recall. I don't know that I would ever say I have a favorite one.
Well, it seems to be the big work, the complicated work that you kind of gravitate to.
Yeah, I think those are things that HAWA specializes in. We focus on things that are a little bit more challenging, but we do quite a bit of office fit outs, and we take care of those as well. What I've noticed on projects that I remember throughout my career, it's the relationships that I've created. The relationship with the architect that we work on a day-by-day basis with, the construction manager, the owners themselves. Those relationships are what make projects memorable and kind of stick in your mind as, like I said, your quote-unquote milestone projects.
Well, we were just in a meeting with somebody, and they said, "Oh, do you know this architect?" And you go, "Yes. He's one of my best friends. We've been working together for 30 years."
Yeah, that is an interesting scenario. You have certainly good friends and acquaintances in the industry, but some of these experiences, again, especially when you've been doing it as long as I have for over 35 years, some of those relationships turn into full-fledged friendships, not just, oh, well, yeah, I work with that guy, but they're actually truly, truly friendships. Some of my truly, truly best friends are in this industry.
Yeah, that's a unique experience, but a very good one. I really enjoy it when that happens.
Sure.
We're going to take 10 seconds out for a word from one of our sponsors.
Oh, okay.
What? No? My apologies. We do not have any sponsors yet. I thought we were going to get into there, but if you want to be a sponsor, email us at this email attachment at the bottom of your page. That may or may not show up. All right. So back to the podcast. So we talked about work, what you like, how you got into it. Outside of work, what do you do? What are your interests?
Spend a lot of time with family. Aaron and I have 3 kids. 2 of them are married. One is in the process of looking for a life partner. So we spend a lot of time, and they're all here in town. We're lucky enough for them all to be here in town. So we spend time a lot on the family side. We have one granddaughter that we had in October we didn't have, our kids had in October of last year. So we've really been enjoying that quite a bit. But some of my hobbies, golf, fishing. I like to fish. I like to ride motorcycles. Aaron and I love the beach. We like to go someplace sunny, especially it's been a nice week so far this year, but certainly this time of year we like to find a place that's sandy and sunny and spend some time there.
Oh, beach time's good. All right. So, as we said earlier, with knowing what a pocket protector is, we're getting a little older, and you're coming up on possibly retiring sometime in the next 20 years. Do you have any plans for life after work in retirement?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of some of those hobby activities that I said. A few smart people have told me as I get close to retirement, I've still got a ways to go, probably 5 or 6 years, something like that, maybe a little bit longer if the staff at HAWA want to keep me around for my experience with the experience I have. But probably enjoy the hobbies that I have. Again, travel a little bit more with Aaron. But few people have told me that you don't ever want to retire from a career. You want to retire to something
else. Yep.
Yeah, instead of just saying, okay, I'm not going to do what I was doing. You want to make certain that you have something to do. So Aaron and I have been talking about that as we get a little bit closer. We both are involved in some nonprofits. Cancer Free Kids is one that HAWA supports quite a bit. The Nationwide Children's Benefit Concert Association. So I think we'll probably continue involvement in those. But one of the things I think that would be interesting to continue, or not to continue to do, but to start to do in retirement would be to maybe teach or tutor. I've really had a passion, again, growing up in this industry, mentoring our younger staff. I was mentored very, very strongly as a young staff person with a few of the old gray hairs, which I have now, in my career. And that's really been something that's been invaluable in my career. And I'd like to kind of maybe do that as well. Thought about maybe in the middle school or high school area, maybe teaching or tutoring in math or science, maybe physics. I know there's a couple programs in the Hilliard School District. Davidson is the one that my kids grew up in. They have an engineering program. So maybe getting involved in that and supporting the community, that way. But finding something to keep myself occupied, but not take up so much time that Aaron and I can't travel a little bit, go to the beach, enjoy the golf course.
Well, having a plan is definitely important. You don't want to just retire and then say, now what?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we're going to switch it up here. We've got a couple of other segments. One is rapid fire questions.
Rapid fire. Okay.
All right. Cats or dogs?
Dogs, for sure.
Favorite season?
Fall.
Favorite ice cream flavor?
Butter pecan, probably.
Biggest fear?
Oh. I worry, I guess, about the business and maybe the families of the staff that we have. I mean, as a leader in the firm, that what you're doing this isn't rapid fire, sorry, but as the leader of the firm,
that's all right.
What you do affects the families that
it does
that work for you. So.
All right, optimist or pessimist?
I guess if I had to say one, I would say pessimist.
All right. In person or remote?
Oh, in person for certain.
Marvel or DC?
Marvel, without a doubt. Fantastic Four.
Favorite beverage?
I like bourbon.
All right. Winter Olympics or Summer Olympics?
Summer.
All right. Go-to karaoke song?
I probably don't have a go-to karaoke song, maybe something from the band.
Okay.
My wife would say her go-to karaoke song is Pour Some Sugar on Me. So,
Something from the band? Is the band?
yeah, the band, a Canadian band.
Oh, I didn't know
Levon
that.
Helms, Robbie Robertson.
I got you. Favorite child?
Of mine?
Of yours.
Oh, wow. There is, they're all my favorite at different times. They're all my least favorite at different times.
All right.
Actually, grandbaby would be my favorite.
Fair enough. Perfect. All right. And another piece is audience questions. If you'd like to put in an audience question, email us at this email at the bottom of the page. We have one today from Katie C. Katie, you know who you are. If you were a weather pattern, what would you be?
A high pressure?
I don't even know what this means. Like, are you a tornado?
No. I think, isn't a high pressure where high pressure comes in and pushes the clouds out?
There's definitely high pressure out there.
Creates sunshine or
Okay.
better weather. That's, I guess, what I would think that
Nice weather.
I would be.
Katie C., if you'd like to elaborate on this question, feel free. All right. Oh, well, thank you for participating in our first episode of Behind the Pocket Protector.
You're very welcome.
I think it went pretty well. If you'd like to know more about our engineers and send your audience questions, just send them to the link below, which may or may not be there. Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe. And Jeff, for you being such a great guest, you get a pocket protector.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. That's very, kind of matches my my jacket.
And stay tuned for the next episode, which will be coming out in about a month. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.